Will Pippa welcome Hayden back to the caravan park? Home and Aways later at 5:10.
So what is the secret of Frisky's Go-Cat? Nuggets with herring for muscle tone, tuna for good eyesight, and vegetables to complete the meal. Frisky's Go-Cat is a complete meal. As tasty as it is crunchy, there's herring, tuna and vegetables, all combined for a nutritionally balanced complete meal in one serving. Frisky's Go-Cat, for cats with an appetite for life.
Kay's brings together an exciting collection of fashions to give your wardrobe a bright new look. Call 0500 888 111 now to order your free catalogue. And choose from exclusive collections and top-name brands at prices you can afford. We'll give you 20% off your first order and interest-free credit too. So put the fun back into shopping with Kay's. Call 0500 888 111 now for your free catalogue.
Good afternoon. Rescuers have now pulled 100 bodies from the Atlantic at the spot where a TWA flight crashed last night. More than 200 were on board the Boeing 747 when it exploded in mid-air shortly after takeoff from New York, bound for Paris.
Slowly and piece by piece, what is left of TWA Flight 800 is being taken back from the deep ocean. Mile by mile, they're combing these waters. Everyone wants to help. Hundreds of boats have joined the search. All along the coastline, they're coming ashore with the remains of the doomed jumbo.
When I heard this happened in my backyard, I figured, hey, I want to go out there and see, if we could do something to help.
They're also recovering tragic reminders of the 229 people on board the jet. There is no real hope now that anyone could have survived. And so far, there's no word from the authorities on what caused this crash.
Our focus has been on people. Our focus has been on rescue. That needs to be the focus until we're sure that we've exhausted all possibility, and then we can focus on the debris field and the investigation.
But the FBI is already checking parts of the aircraft. There are now suggestions a TV station received a telephone warning.
I understand there have been some calls. I don't have the details.
But were they before the bomb or afterwards? Or, sorry, before the crash or after?
My understanding is that a Tampa TV station received one, and I'm not sure of where the other call was placed.
The evidence is making it increasingly hard to find any other explanation than a terrorist attack. Ben Ando, ITN.
A special trauma centre was set up in Paris to help distraught relatives. Many learned of the crash from an arrivals board at the airport. It's thought 40 of the passengers were French.
We'll take care of every specific need that they have. If they need to fly to the United States or whatever needs they have will be met by ITV.
Today's other main news. A man was jailed for life today for the murder of 7-year-old Sophie Hook. The judge recommended that Howard Hughes should never be released. He told him, "You're a fiend, you're every parent's nightmare."
Howard Hughes, the 6-foot 8-inch unemployed gardener, found guilty of the rape and murder of 7-year-old Sophie Hook. The little girl was abducted from the back garden of her uncle's home, where she'd been sleeping in a tent with her sister and cousin. Chester Crown Court heard that Hughes had confessed to his father that he did kill Sophie. It took the jury of 4 women and 8 men 5 hours to reach its unanimous verdict. In Llandudno, Howard Hughes was well known to the police. He'd been arrested 3 times for assaulting children. Detectives say they'd received numerous complaints about him, but were powerless to act.
In sentencing Hughes to life imprisonment, the judge, Mr. Justice Richard Curtis, described him as a fiend. He said your crime was every parent's worst nightmare. No little girl is safe from you. You should never, ever be released. And he called on the Home Office to introduce new legislation to protect children from men like Howard Hughes. As Hughes was led away, he looked up at the press gallery and mouthed, "I didn't do it." Ben McCarthy, ITN, Chester Crown Court.
And some news, Justin, on another court story. The Hercules pilot squadron leader Michael Harrison, who was accused of killing a man by manslaughter on the ground, has just been found not guilty. Michael Morrison, his name is. There were gasps from the public gallery as the jury announced the verdict. But the main news today is the plane crash in America. As we heard, calls claiming responsibility have been made. We'll have the latest on that at 5:40.
Good afternoon. A garden fire started by a Southampton pensioner has destroyed thousands of pounds worth of property after it got out of control. Kenneth Belchamber had been trying to burn off his overgrown garden.
Neighbours were left counting the cost of 69-year-old Kenneth Belchamber's efforts at garden clearance.
I was just burning up some rubbish over there. It spread on down there. I just saw all these flames coming up where the shed was about, and it spread to next door's caravan.
And not just to the caravan. Parts of Mr. Belchamber's home and his neighbour's kitchen were also badly damaged.
My husband came to pick me up from Portsmouth and said, there's no caravan and probably half the house is gone. And prepare yourself. And this is what I came home to. Certainly a neighbour of mine tried contacting local agencies with regards to getting the garden cleared because it was a health hazard and a fire hazard this time of year, and they all declined.
Mr. Belchamber has apologised to his neighbours. He says he always used to burn off his garden during the war, but now he thinks he's lost his touch.
The uncle of 4 children killed in a fire has been committed for trial at Winchester Crown Court, accused of their murder. 58-year-old Fred Hayworth has been remanded in custody. 8-year-old Nicola Good, her 10-year-old sister Alison and brother Terry, who was 12, were killed. Their 6-year-old brother Patrick also died. They were trapped when flames ripped through their home at Sholing in Southampton in May. Major improvements to be carried out at Southampton's main psychiatric hospital mean male and female patients will have separate sleeping areas. £150,000 is to be spent at the 25-bed centre at the Royal Southampton site. A spokesman says people with mental health problems will be treated in more homely surroundings. Rail passengers in the south will soon be breathing a sigh of relief, quite literally. A solution has been found to a problem which resulted in some trains being so hot that passengers were passing out. Stagecoach, which now owns South West Trains, has discovered a simple and cheap solution.
These carriages should be the pride of the South West Trains fleet. Just 3 years old, they're among the most advanced in the world. But there's a problem. The air conditioning system meant to cool people down has been such a disaster, passengers have passed out gasping for air. British Rail did nothing. South West Trains' new owners Stagecoach have spent £1 million trying to tweak the system, but it's still not fully reliable. Now managers have come up with a revolutionary all-time solution. Windows that open when the system fails to let the cold air in. The cost £100,000.
We did look at taking the roofs off and making them cabriolets, but we thought that might not work. But no, this is not a joke. We're dead serious about making sure that the customers have got a good environment under all conditions.
And so a simple solution to a seemingly not so simple problem. And from a bus company. It seems there's hope for privatisation yet. Mike Pearce for Meridian News.
And that's all the news from Meridian for now. We'll be back with Meridian tonight at 6. Join us then. Goodbye.
Meridian Weather with Stena Line Ferries. New horizons every day.
Now for the weather. After a fine sunny evening, tonight will be dry with mist and perhaps an occasional fog patch around dawn. Lowest temperature 8. Any mist or fog will quickly clear tomorrow to leave us another dry, warm day with a good deal of sunshine. Best temperature 25.
Call the Meridian Weather Line, sponsored by Stena Line Ferries.